I'm joined with Gadwall from Rage, Divinity from 3.5s, and your favorite leader, Snow from the 8th. Appreciate you guys being here with me. I apologize for the late start. We were trying to get something, a new feature to work. We're going to continue to work on it throughout the podcast and hopefully get it working for you guys by the end. But yeah, so I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys being here, and if you guys had anything you wanted to open up with, now's the time. Snow, did you have anything you wanted to say to start off?
No, these are two guys that they just played last night, so it'll be interesting. Hopefully, this is two heated. They respect each other to a degree, but we like content. So, I'm just gonna get talk to it. I got a few questions lined up for you.
You're a little hard to hear, Snow.
Okay. Y'all hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a few questions for both of you. Besides that, if they whatever happened.
Okay. So how did your guys' game go last night? Did you two play one another?
Yeah.
We were.
Rage is pretty fun.
So, Divinity, we'll start with you. What was your takeaways from the game? I didn't see who ended up winning that game, so how did it go?
They ended up winning 3-2, 90 minutes. We just lost momentum and never could get it back once they capped third. I feel like our armor was winning our engagements. It was pretty laggy, per se. I was back on the guns the whole game on Artie, so I can't really talk about what was going on in the front lines because I just really wasn't paying attention to that. My focus was shutting Artie down.
Yeah. What map were you guys on?
Omaha Nightfall, I think?
Utah.
Yeah, almost the same thing.
Yeah.
They both, yeah. So, who ended up capping mid first?
We did.
And I mean, it seems like the meta. Well, I don't even know if it's really considered a meta. It's just going off of like win percentages. It almost seems like in a highly competitive scene, teams who cap mid first tend to go on to win the game. So, I guess my question to you would be like, how long did you guys hold mid, and what did Rage do to take mid from you guys?
I want to say we held it for roughly about 30 minutes, maybe 40, pushing it, and they just took out all of our spawns, and we couldn't get them up fast enough, and they just overpowered us from that point. Never could reestablish anything.
Yeah, well, I'll come back to you. I want to get Gadwall's opinion on that. So what was your role in that game?
Yeah. I've kind of set myself only to play an Artie as of lately. I used to play Command all the time, and now I'm kind of sick of it, so I'm in Artie.
So
I watch the map all the time, on Artie. So.
So both of you were Artie for this game.
Oh, no shit.
So I guess from your perspective, were you in command chat for that game, or were you?
Yeah, man, I was in white chat with the commander. We're pretty good buds. So
yeah.
we're
At least from hearing like what he had to say, or at least just like observing the map, I know Divinity said they held mid for like roughly 30 to 45 minutes. What did you see watching the map that led you guys to taking that midpoint from them?
Well, so mid was Chapel, and then we had what is that? We had the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that they had WN5, and we had the bottom, whatever the hell it's called now, I can't remember. But they're both kind of like an island, hard to attack point.
Yeah.
So that the mid objective, it's closer to the allies. These guys are allies. We're Axis, and we just had I think map sector control on the west side of Chapel. And once you take those houses, it was just kind of easier to sneak your way into the point.
Yeah. So Divinity mentioned that you guys were taking out their spawns and they weren't able to get them up quick enough. Is that something that you guys work on? Like, do you, not going too deep into to detail on your guys' strategy and everything, but is that something that you guys practice, is hunting down enemy spawns potentially before pushing a point, or do they kind of go hand in hand with one another?
I think it's just like an organic thing. We're a new team, we just barely merged with 2.9. So we're kind of working on a cohesion, and we don't really have like a straight down game plan like that. But it just worked that everyone was spread out and they played the map very well.
Yeah. So, I know 3.5s has been around for a little while, and like you said, so yourself, Rage is still fairly new, and so I would like to, really get to know more about Rage. I don't think I've really like talked one-on-one with anyone from Rage, and me and you have never talked until now. So I'd like to get to know a little bit more about you and your group and everything. So before Rage, were you a part of any other group?
Yeah,
Like,
so Rage was founded by pretty much the armor sector of BZRK. So I was in BZRK like since like a few months after it was started. So I was in there for years, and then as you know from talking to Fat Hog in the previous podcast, right? Like the defensive part and the armor part of BZRK had left,
mhm.
and the armor guys all made Rage, and then a lot of like the defensive guys went over, and it kind of like as BZRK kind of fizzled away, we just kind of moved to Rage. So almost like the start of Rage was just basically like BZRK. Like a lot of the guys were.
So while you were in Berserk, did you like in the say like short days before the split? Did you see the split coming?
Yeah, it's like as Fat Hawk said, there's a lot that happened, right? I was in upper command there for quite a long time.
Mm.
The clan was just designed in different sections, and people just grew apart, and leadership had issues. So I think it was coming for quite a long time, to be honest. Even when we were playing 3-5 in scrims, I think you could see it in the horizon.
Mm-hmm. So one last question I have for you before I move on to Snow, and then I'll go back to Divinity. Um, what made you guys break off and instead of just joining another already set team, what made you guys want to create your own?
So our leader, Captain Insane, I don't know if you know him or
Mm-hmm.
not, but he just wanted a place where he could he could implement his own ideas and strategies and have his buds around him. And I'm at the point now in the game where I don't want to make new friends. Like I knew the guys for so long.
Yeah.
If I'm going to join a new clan, I don't want to get to know 200 new guys. I'm just going to follow my pals and where they go on their play. So that's a lot of guys went to Rage, and that's where we sit.
Yeah. Yeah. So now to you, Snow. Obviously, we're both in the same group, and I know kind of what's going on, at least from the scrims and the games that we've been playing. But going back to this last game we played in particular against the 21st, you, from a commander standpoint, I mean, we got the luck of the draw playing Hurtgen, Forest, Knight as the Germans, and the middle point I think being it was Scar, right?
Scar, yeah.
So obviously that is a heavily German favored point to get to because the Germans have a straight shot to point and they don't have to cross the river. But playing a team like the 21st, although they have been on a pretty steady decline, they have, years of comp experience. How do you think the 8th, being a fairly new team, competed against, someone like the 21st that knows how to play Hurtgen Forest? They played Hurtgen Forest in, 2 summit seasons and stuff like that. Like, they have their strategies for that map, but what did the 8th do differently, or what did the 8th do, in your opinion as commander, do better than the 21st to beat them 5-0 in an hour and 10 minutes?
21st plays just like they did season 1 of Summit. I mean, they play no differently. And I think that's the entire reason why they're on the decline they are, leadership or whatever. But you got to adapt. I came from a group that didn't have much experience at all, so it's fun. We were just we shot them, we outpaced them. Yeah, we had an advantage, obviously. But what a lot of people don't realize, like at least the way we played, and you're starting to see it in Winters with that main mind control, that fucking point is a pain in the ass because you have to talk to river to attack.
Mhm.
It's a pain to try to get across that river. Yeah, and I had the mic. I did have a question for you. You actually joined the 8th right when the split happened.
Your mic is cutting out a little bit.
Sorry. You actually joined the 8th right when the split happened. So, what you were retired at that point? Like you kind of left to retire. What brought you kind of back into the game? Was it Insano? Did you need like a pep talk, or was it you just see your friends there? And just
Oh, it's a sick addiction, dude. Like the whole comp scene, it's a sick addiction. I mean, I have kind of retired from the leadership stuff. Leadership stuff in the playing hell loose in the comp scene is exhausting, as you know, man. It takes a lot of time. Me and my wife just moved across the country, so there's been a lot going on, and I was pretty burnt. So, and I was playing command like you. I played command for TPL and Summit for BZRK for a couple seasons. So I've kind of dropped back, and I played like some rep role now, and Sano brought me in, and he's great with saying, hey man, like if you need help, you can come help, but you don't have to, and he's not pushing responsibilities. So I'm kind of living the dream back on Artie.
have y'all experienced growing pains with like basically, at least from my point of view and what I had to deal with? I had a lot of good players, but I had a team, especially with like the rotation. I think completely like rebuild my team. So have you experienced a little growing pains in the way in the style you play, or are you guys wanting to get your stride and how you're wanting to play as a team?
We've grown like super fast since we started. I mean, we've only been around, I don't know how long, a month or two at this point, right? Like it's a brand new clan. There's going to be growing pains, but I think we've been fairly lucky. We've been picking up good guys, and we haven't really had a lot of big issues. Everyone has like opinions on strategy and things like that, and that gets worked out. But our leadership has a style of it's almost a round table, but Insano's making the choices, and he's got his advisors, and if you have good guys in leadership, you can overcome that kind of stuff. And that's we haven't had really any big issues yet, though.
It takes a lot of core, and it takes a lot of being able to talk to other people to get another team to converge with you. Especially, I don't think 2-9 was in necessarily a bad spot. I think they had weaknesses like everyone else. But that was a good pickup because that was really 3-5's offense. As you mentioned earlier, that you guys were Berserk's defense and armor, so you really got a lot of recipes for success there. And it's good to hear.
We were lucky with picking up 2-9, I think, and these guys, they kind of meshed into the Rage guys very well, and now we're all Rage, obviously, but I mean, fantastic pickup, and a lot of them are great players. Most of them, I don't know all of them, to be honest. But the guys I've played with, have been total killers.
So, Snow, before you get into your next question, what brought 2-9 to you guys? Like, what was the attraction?
Oh, sorry, say that one more time.
So did 2-9 merge with Rage?
Yeah.
So what brought them to you guys? Like, where was that attraction? Was it just you two knew each other, like new members of each other's clan, or did they like reach out and like, hey, we like what you guys have going on, we want to merge forces, I guess?
Insano was kind of doing that. It seemed like behind the books, maybe with some backroom kind of conversations with those guys, and I wasn't really involved in it too much. But I know that we had a lot of experience from BZRK coming to Rage, with playing comp. We had some really great players. We knew how the leagues worked. We knew how the comp scene was. And I think they were looking for somewhere they can mesh into and kind of find that role where they have some guys with experience. So it just it worked out. And like Snow said, we've got the defense, we've got the armor, and they came over with the offense. And I think we just got really lucky.
Yeah. Snow, you can continue with the questions that you had.
No, man, because the Rage is kind of following, not in the footsteps per se, but you're building the team, like I built my team. The melting pot. A group of guys coming in together. There's shit, like, you hear shit about poaching, but like, TOCF fell apart. It's just, lucky, really. It's finding the right spots and like trusting in your team to grow from the ground up. A couple questions for Divinity. Um, Arguably one of your biggest wins in at least 6 months was you guys winning and upsetting first and last game. What about that game helped push the upset?
Can you repeat that last?
Yeah, like what caused the upset game? What basically caused
So I don't really remember much about that game because it was a little bit ago. But what led to that was they messed up on. I guess it was they messed up on some of their backline stuff when they were trying to push, and we capitalized on that. And then when we sent we sent everybody forward. We just went, every swing and dig straight to the point, because we got desperate. There was 10 minutes left in the game and we got desperate. So, and then when they placed a bombing run, they completely missed. They whiffed on the bombing run, and it could have stopped it, could not have. I'm not sure, but it was just a dogfight trying to get that point, and inevitably we took it back, and they almost capped it right back. They were about 95% away from capping it back, but General placed a bombing run, and it wiped them all out.
Good deal. How right now you guys do bi-weekly scrims with us? Have you been able to see a improvement in your team? He talk about many ways of playing the same team consistently like that. It's just playing like your usual Civil Wars with that being able to propel you guys forward.
Yeah, I mean, it'll. Every time we play you guys, it's always a good thing for us because it's always a 90-minute match, and it's never a 4-1 or 5-0. So we get to learn a lot from you guys, try new strats, try different, approaches to when we're playing you guys, what we're doing wrong, what we can try to fix, whether it's our, garrison network or, people in the wrong places or whatnot. But, just playing you guys is, best for us right now because, you guys have our number. And, we got to try to keep playing you guys enough to where we can beat you consistently.
I got you. And then the last question I have for you, man. How is the group that joined you guys from Berserk, how have they improved your team?
Oh, they're just killers, man. When the people from 2-9 left, it did hit us hard. As much as people don't want to admit it, they're arguably our best shooters. Probably majority of our attack, and we were hurting when they left. But when these BZRK guys came in, it really helped us in getting some killers back, which we were desperately needing. And they've integrated pretty easily, pretty smooth, and we're just looking to get better from this point forward.
All right, winners. That's all I got, buddy.
Okay. So now we are a couple weeks into the TFL season. Divinity, how do you guys feel? Your standings so far. I think. Actually, let me check right now the standings. So, you guys are atop the West right now at 3-0. How are you guys feeling so far, being 3-0 through the first 3 weeks of the season?
Good. You can't really say you're feeling bad about starting 3-0. Got a tough matchup coming tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a dogfight for the whole game. Hopefully we come out on top and make a name for ourselves.
Who are you guys playing tomorrow?
We play the 6th.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
It's gonna be a game.
So, going into playing a team like, for example, the 8th, comparing the week leading up to playing a team, like I said, for example, the 8th, versus going up against a team like the 6th, do you guys do anything differently in your weekly operations? Do you ramp up trainings depending on your opponents? Do you guys kind of alter your trainings in ways based off of what you know about your upcoming opponents? Like, how does the week leading up to the game shift depending on who you're playing?
So I don't want to give up too much, but
Yeah, of course.
inevitably, yes, we do want to try to say play a better team if we're playing the six. We would like to play a better team to get a good warm up in. See what we could do against like a better team. Unfortunately, that didn't happen this week. I'm not sure 100% why, but it didn't happen. So, we've watched film on it. Dissecting how the six played against the seventh. Their top teams.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to build on something to where we have an idea of what we can assume to see out of them, and try to counter that.
So, something else I wanted to ask, and this can kind of go for all of you guys. This is shifting real quick away from the matchups because Gadwall, I had something to ask you regarding some standings for Rage, but I think right now, in my opinion, and we do have a section on this towards the end of the show or kind of halfway through. In my opinion, right now, I think that the team to beat is the sixth. I mean, it seems like almost every tournament they're going into, they're wiping the floor with opposition and winning it. What team would you guys say, in your opinion, is the team, like, how do I word this? Like, if you had to select one team that you would bet money on to play the sixth and beat them, who would you guys pick and why?
That's hard, man.
I'm gonna have to still say WTG or seventh.
Mm-hmm.
You watch that game, and it wasn't. It was like a back and forth like little game there. Ultimately, they never capped. The seventh never capped, but
Mm-hmm.
they were there. They were putting pressure on them, and six never really got any pressure on seventh second OBJ.
Mm-hmm.
So I think six just had a really good day, and there was just nothing stopping them.
So would you say, and then Gadwall, I'll get to you so you can answer that, but would you say, Divinity, if the seventh before they crumbled and the sixth, if they were to play each other 10 times in a row, it would be like even splits, like 5-5?
I think you could. It's map dependent. It's all map dependent. Teams play different on different maps. You never know how a team's gonna play on, say, Hurtgen compared to Carrington.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the seventh has a slight edge. I think it could be a 7-3-6-4. I don't think it's a direct split.
Yeah. Okay. Gadwall, what about you?
Dude, I'm kind of in the same. I'm in the same thought of that, and I might be biased because I've had the seventh kick my ass so many times over the while. Like you kind of see him as like this undefeated, beast of a team. And I don't know the six very well. I've never played them in a comp game,
Mm-hmm.
but you see a team like WPG now, and they're a good team. So it's hard to say. And like Divinity said, a lot of these games, when teams are so close, it really comes down to map, and that's you can win a game by just having the right points and the right access allies on whatever map it is. If you're running a 50-50, but I'd almost say I'd say at least 5-5 or 6-4. If they're playing 10 games, I'd go for the seventh of the new WPG guys.
Mm-hmm. Snow, what do you think?
Man, it's like they're saying, it's so map dependent. But right now, the time that six is matched up with seventh or WTG, are 1-0. Like they beat them. So I'll talk about it later when I do the rankings. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. And it's a head to head. So map, everything. Unfortunately, I wish I tried to push this TPL. I wish we would do game series, at least for like the semifinals and the finals, like best of three. Reason for that is because Berserk lost to Merc. It was a regular season game. I think it was a playoff game, but they had like issues with like lost 15 players, or at least that's what they said. a series would prevent that. You would actually get the best team winning the series. Obviously, like Merck versus Old Berserk, it would be best whoever wins 2 games. But anyway, 6 continues their dominance in TPL and TFL. They've won every single game by 5-0. Actually, in TFL, it's going against a majority. The Allies have won 70% of the matches. When the playoff picture is looking to be 6, 3, 5, first, and 8th in the teams that are in playoff positioning almost halfway through the season.
Do you think those same 4 teams are going to hold their playoff spots through the rest of the season?
Yeah, I do, and I could actually see. I could see some of them getting upset. I could see first losing again. Obviously, I mean, we played the same teams twice. I could see us losing the 6th again, but it is better once you see the team for once to go back and retool against them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're a really good team, and unlike another Australian team in Ross, 6 actually puts their name out there and plays, in my opinion, teams, or is willing to play a lot more teams. I do give them massive credit for coming into this league and playing at our times and our servers. I throw my hands up. Yeah, I could definitely see a team like 4AD upset 3-5 or upset. Upsets happen, so it could happen. So I do see an upset happen, or like 101A pulling off an upset to somebody.
I can see that.
Yeah. So now moving on to you, Gadwal, kind of like my original question with the standings. So Rage isn't competing in TFL. So I have 2 questions for you. One, I'm assuming that Rage wasn't or isn't competing in TFL just because you guys are still newer and still a smaller clan, right?
Yeah, I think we missed like the cutoff to register. So
Okay.
we didn't have the members. We actually just registered for TPL. We qualified against 3-5 and 40 man limit, right? So we just went for TPL. We're competing in the Winter League.
So that kind of leads into my next question: is how has the Winter League been going for you guys?
It's been going pretty good. It was confusing to start off with because I think we had to pick up 2 9s. They had a record, but they had a record before someone else, and it was like I wasn't privy to all that. It was very confusing, and I think we lost that last game against 101A with the 3-5 guys filled in. We had Nomad helping out, and that's we couldn't get a full team back then, and that was only like a few weeks ago, right? So now we're coming up, and we're actually hitting that 50 number.
Yeah, because the reason I ask is because I'm also in the Winter League Discord, and I was looking at their Season 1 standings, and this was posted like 11 days ago or something like that, and this was the first time I was looking at the standings was earlier today when I was thinking about stuff I wanted to talk on the show, and I saw Rage sitting at 1-4, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, I know, like, even though I haven't like directly interacted with like a specific member, I've seen Rage in the game, and since doing this show, I try to look at the bigger picture and see how the other teams are doing and everything. And I know you guys are better than 1-4. So like, was that what you were saying? Like you picked up 2 9s record, and
I think 2-9 had to. They picked up so much record before then, and take this a grain of salt because don't quote me on this. I mean, but they picked up a record, and then we picked up 2-9. We merged, right, and so then it was Rage. So I think we started off like as Rage is 0-2. And I want to say we beat the 30th. We won our first game, and then we lost that 1-1A game. So like technically, the games we played we're 1-1, with the 2 losses just being like as we have to take that on.
Yeah. So now moving on to you, Snow. Obviously, we're 2-1, being our 1 loss to the 6. So I take that with a grain of salt. It's like oh, we lost to the 6. Ooh. But I watched that 6th game from both Salt's perspective and Malarkey's perspective. So it wasn't like you guys just got absolutely dog walked. So we'll start with that game, and then we'll go to the season so far as a whole. How did you feel as a commander again? How did you feel we performed against the Sixth?
Just got outshot. Those guys, you see a lot of teams with high records or high levels on the scoreboard, and you're like, okay, and then they shoot like shit. They can't hit the backside of the ball. 11. But then you get teams like 6 where every member over there is level 300 plus, it seems like. And them fuckers, you know it. Like they're hitting really good shots. And it was really, really different playing them because it was like playing ourselves. We developed a way to play like they do. They've got an CP. But it was honestly, we were in a position where we like to do the other team. Basically, full map control against us. We felt like we were trapped in the middle of the circle, and we could not move outside. It was just killing fields, it seemed like. So we got mid first, but man, we were on our back for the entire game, just getting outshot in that position. So it was a tough game. So,
yeah, but the other two after the Sixth, I mean, sitting at 2-1, now 4 weeks in, our fourth game is tomorrow. How do you feel? How do you feel about sitting at 2-1 and the only loss being to the Sixth?
our job's not done. I mean, we play Sixth again, so want to beat them again. 3-5 actually took a win. I didn't think they would hit against First. So for playoff positioning, we're gonna have to sweep 3-5. I mean, he's gonna have something to say about that, but and First as well. Like, I mean, we'll talk later, but I don't know how First is. I cannot tell you. They have 900 members, and I can't tell if the guys are good or if they're bad. Like, I have no clue. I know who they lost. I know they were good players, but I cannot tell you what they are.
Yeah. So, kind of moving on. You were saying earlier that the Allies have won 70% of the matches, and it's weird because it seems like the trend has always been the Germans winning the majority. So, do you think this is just like luck of the draw because of like the maps that the teams have been getting, or is there like a shift, or is this just an anomaly?
I think it's an anomaly. I'm not going to say the teams that were Germans were shitters, because we were also Germans and got beat, so we were one of them. But I think just the better team. You're going against that outclassed team. It doesn't matter what faction, what guns you got. A lot of what's more important than factions, the points they have. You get, especially the way we play it, we got all our points in like straight line and forward. That's great. Versus like counteracting points that are going up and down. It's the points matter more than the guns in my opinion.
Yeah. So, and this is for all you guys. I tried asking some of the new WTG members, how it's been and everything. I wanted to get one of them on the show, but they said, since they're still so new and they're trying to work on all of the new players that have joined, they're not quite ready to talk about it yet, but I'm fucking talking about it anyway because it's my show. For you guys, WTG has obviously now split off from the 7th, so they took all of the best members of the 7th. They've taken, some of the best members from other groups that they were friends with. You get so many top quality players in one group together, and I think I was told that right now they're sitting at like 150. Now I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but you get so even at 100, you get 100 top tier players that all have dozens of comp game experience. How do you guys feel as Gadwell was, you were upper command, Snow, you run commander, and you're one of the top guys, if not the top guy in the 8th. And Divinity, I'm not exactly sure your stance in 3.5s, but you've been there for long enough to know. How do you think they are dealing with, or could potentially be dealing with, so many different top tier players expecting to play on the comp roster, but you can only bring 50? Like, do you think that can cause problems? People saying like, well, I posted a better combat score than this guy. Why am I not on the roster? Or I've been playing in comp since before TPL was, even a thing. So why am I not on the roster? Like, I think that can lead to a lot of different issues. So how do you think if you were in Francis's spot in WTG, how would you deal with that kind of inner turmoil, I guess, that could arise?
I can comment on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, 100 people, like, you guys probably know, like, it's hard to get 50 guys up, and 100 folks sounds like it's a lot, but in all reality, you put the event, and it's hard to hit 50 with that many guys. Now these are high level guys, and they probably play a lot more than your normal folks. So if they get to 50, and it kind of comes down to, kind of two different philosophies in my opinion. Like, you can take members like just based on if they're really good players, without considering like what they've done for the clan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's always like that's a normal argument, and you'll get that all the time. Like, a guy will put in hundreds of hours in Discord, but he doesn't play the game, and he's not good, and he wants a roster spot. So you can go with those guys. You can go with the guys who are the shooters, and they might have shit attitudes, or they might be kind of toxic folks. But it depends on how bad you want to win, really.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play with your pals, you want to play with the best. And that's going to be down to Francis to just decide. Does he want to be the best, or does he want to have fun with his buddies?
Yeah. Divinity, what do you have to say about that?
It's a tough situation because, yeah, you're gonna have your friends in there, but in a situation where WTG is right now, you want to win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how WTG looks at the 6 loss. It could be looked at as an upset or whatnot, but you have that many guys, and it's bound to upset somebody that they don't play. It's really hard to balance. Even though 150 really isn't that many, it is really hard to balance that many, like, above average to great players. Like, somebody's gonna sit, somebody's gonna be upset that they're sitting, and inevitably they're just gonna leave, or if they don't have a backbone and aren't trying to actually get better than the person that they're slotted over. But I can't really say how they deal with it. It seems like it would just be a headache to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Snow, what about you?
I don't think they'll have. I think their biggest enemy is going to be themselves. I don't think talent is going to be their problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think they're going. From what I'm hearing, they're going to be playing a lot of scrims, which they need to. It's a lot of players, but there's also a different philosophy. Francis is really running the ship now. Obviously, with his leadership with Beardew, Pookie, and all of them, but Francis was really the one who pushed the new style of play that a lot of the top teams play now, and it came from a loss. It came from them losing the HOE and Merc. And that's kind of when we heard last week from the Wake, that's kind of when they got in their bag a little bit and found a new way to play. I think they'll be fine. I don't, unless they fucking get upset by some mid-tier team. I don't. I don't see who. I don't know who they're playing in the future that's really put a challenge on. I believe they play Merc Sunday. To be honest with you,
That'd be a good game to watch.
That'd be a good game. I don't know if they're streaming. I can sneak into a stream and I'll watch it. That'll be a good game as well. So we'll see. But I think, like I said, I think their biggest issue is going to be either egos or just managing people. Francis has taught me how to manage people, and the best way to counter not having playtime is to put more games out for people to play.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing once a week, you're playing your top 50 guys once a week. Then you get guys that can't play versus someone like us who only play 2 to 3 times a week. I'm able to say, okay, well we're playing 3-5. It's a scrim. I'm gonna play a few new guys that didn't get a chance to play Sunday and see how they do. Put them into a different position. So that's a good way to counter it. And all those guys that are joining there know what's expected.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a question in my head. Okay, yeah. So we covered this last week, but I'm curious to see what you two have to say about it. We talked last week about what WTG, like how they became a thing, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's poaching because it's not. They just split, and then other players have been now joining them, but when a group like that forms where they're taking the top tier talent from a already existing group like the seventh, and then other people seeing like, holy shit, this new top tier team just formed, I'm gonna go join them. Is that in a way hurting the comp community? Like, what do you guys think about that? Is that like a super team essentially forming overnight? Is that something that you know is detrimental to the comp community? Instead of all those players dissipating into different groups, they all join together and create one super team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of does hurt the comp scene. Now, I spoke with some folks the other day from the PC Held Loose comp scene, and they were sharing the opinion that the top team was so much better than all the rest of the teams that it was just kind of like it was a total domination, and I think people lose motivation to continue after that, right? But personally, I would rather join another team and beat WTG than join WTG and beat everyone else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But so there's a lot of folks out there that with that same ideology, right? And I know like the six, and there's different, and that's the good thing about having EU guys and guys from Australia is that they're not going to all go to a US team or whatever. Like they're going to kind of congregate to their own folks. And at this time, yeah, WTG is good, but there's still teams out there that can beat them. We're not to the point where they're actually hurting the comp scene. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a mixed boat about it. Yeah, I wouldn't call it detrimental, but I also wouldn't say it's bad for the community because it does create, that ceiling where, you want to break through that ceiling, and they're that ceiling. They're the team to beat. So it, you know, it really shows character if somebody's wanting to go and leave and go join the best team rather than want to beat the best team. It'd be helpful for the whole community if um, they didn't get basically every good player, but I mean that's just who they are. They're a good team. They should expect to get good players. But if I'm correct, most of that team is just the seventh.
Yeah. So I wanted to address something that was just said in the chat. They were saying that WTG wasn't necessarily a split off from the seventh. 90% of their members were kicked from the seventh when Cree just nuked the server. Like, yeah, I understand that, and I mean, it may have been, misspoken by me, regardless of being, kicked from the seventh or splitting off from, any team could have done the same thing and had their best players split off and then go join or form a super team and then bring people from, everywhere else. So whether it was the seventh members getting kicked, the seventh members splitting, or 3-5 splitting, or eighth splitting, it's same concept. I personally think that it would have been more beneficial for the community if those players were to dissipate into the other groups, because then instead of having WTG and then the next team being down here, it could have been like WTG and then the next team right here and down here and down here. You know what I mean? It's like the gap is so wide, and I mean, I could definitely see how on like from their perspective, they're like, well, we're the best, and if you want to be the best, you got to beat us. Like, okay, I get that, and like I would probably be cocky if I were them too. But being a different team, I definitely would have rather have seen, like I said, those players going to, a bunch of other teams than all forming one super team. But, I mean, that's just me.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna turn into this week's games in the
Yeah.
PFL and transition in that way. The main culprit with the 7th is the NA community in itself. You got to realize, in Europe, there's 2 teams, 3 actually. Well, yeah, 3.
Yeah, I think there's 3.
Yeah, you got Taco. Well, you got tons of teams, but you got 3 powerhouse teams. You got Taco, Merc, and HOA. So you're fighting recruits with 3 teams. Meanwhile, in America, we have 8, First, 3-5, 5 ID. I mean, we have 7 or we have so many different teams. Put it this way: so say if every team but WTG put all their best players in one, you probably compete with them. I mean, honestly, you take Rage's like best players, 3-5, 8, best players. But,
Your mic is cutting out.
I know. I put my hand over my mistake.
Oh, you're good.
But that's until I'm tired of seeing new. It's great. I'm glad to see new teams, but for every fracture you're hurting, we're cutting ourselves.
Yeah.
For every rage that's formed, it's taken away from where they were, like Berserk. It's just Berserk was going to be that team to break through, and it didn't. First was going to be that team. Hell, quote unquote, we are. It doesn't matter until it's just the way the community is. Until either owners and egos set aside and actually form a union of teams, I don't see anybody on the NA side being up there because we're basically feeder teams for now. Until it is what it is. There's other teams that are feeder teams to us as well. So I mean, it is what it is.
I agree.
It's too many teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to go ahead and transition into the next segment?
Yep. So this week we have 3-5 versus 6. I think it's tomorrow, right, Divinity?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pick who I think is gonna win, and you guys can comment as well. I have 6 winning. That's not really a surprise. I don't have a score. I think 6 is going to continue their dominant 5-0. I think it depends on what 3-5 we're going to get. I mean, it depends on if we're going to be super defensive oriented. I think it could drag out. It maybe even be like a 4-1, which I would like to see. But who knows? I mean, we play each other a lot. Y'all want to send that house like you did against First. A team like 6, it's a good team to fucking body. And then for the next match is First against. Well, First has a bye because when First dropped out, making it. And 4AD versus 8 and us. I have us winning. I have us winning probably 3-2, 5-0. It's kind of basic. It just depends on how they push. Depends on the map. But I could see us. Well, we always do 3-2. And then we have 5ID versus 101A, and I actually have 101A going off an upset against 5ID. I've never been impressed by 5ID's gun skill, but their armor is excellent. So it's really, if 5ID gets pushed on the map where their armor can be neutralized, like the Hill 400 or something, I can really see 101A. They showed me a lot, and they're still grinding themselves, but they showed me a lot on that Milton map. A perfect map that's the shitter map, as I call it, man. That map is perfect for evening out teams, even though you're supposed to be better than Milton's a really good map to make you pretty even. They're a really good defensive team. So I have one day upset last week for this week. Go ahead, Winters. Does anyone have any comments on that?
Yeah, so I think I think I agree with what you were saying. I think the 6th is going to take the win against 3-5, but I don't think it's going to be a 5-0 this time. I think at max it's going to be 4-1. I think it really just depends on the map and the layout of the objectives, because you could even get a favorable map, but the layout's dog water. I don't know. I don't know what 3-5s is planning on bringing into this game. I remember back when I was in, upper command of the 21st, we were getting ready to play the 7th. I think it was just in like a scrim or something before like Summit 2 started, I think. And I remember we played on Foy. And this was the first time we played the 7th in a while. And I think the 7th and the 6th play very well, like prime 7th and the 6th play very similar to one another. And something I definitely tossed around is, and it's extremely hard to do. It's a lot easier said than done. Is teams that get such extreme map control so efficiently, I don't think you can afford to cap a point and sit on it, because eventually you're going to get surrounded. Your garrisons are going to get taken. So I think a team like the 6th, you got to hit them, right back. And it's going to come down to who's going to win the gunfights, who can take out the armor. And I mean, it's not like no shit, like whoever wins the gunfights is going to win the game. I think you have to continue pushing against teams like that. You cannot let them surround you and sit on a point. So I think if 3-5s can cap mid, or even if they lose mid first, if they keep up the pressure, I think at max maybe a 4-1. I don't see a 5-0 coming out of it, but who knows. Next was first was the bye week. 4AD versus the 8th. Again, it's going to come down to the map. 4AD is sitting at 1 and 2. I think they had a couple tough games, both against the first. And then they played
3-5, I think.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, 3-5.
480. Yeah. So I mean, they've played some pretty good teams. I don't know why we like to have a flair for the dramatic and win games 3-2. The 5-0 against the 21st, I kind of take that with another grain of salt. It's sad to see the decline, especially since I spent so long there. But we had the map advantage and the faction advantage on Hurtgen Forest. I think we can 5-0 4AD as well. But again, I like to. For some reason, I have a feeling that a lot of these games are going to be 4-1 this week. I don't know why. It's just a feeling that I have. Next, we have 5ID and 101A. I think 5ID is going to pull it off. They're 0-3, and I can only imagine what's going on in their server right now, going on in their upper command. They're desperate for their first win, and I think they're going to go all out and try to secure that first victory. Because it's so...
this is a must-win.
It is. That's what I was getting at, was TFL's not that long in length, and you can't afford... You go 0-4, your season is pretty much over with. You have no hope for the playoffs. So this is definitely a must-win game, and I think they're going to play as such.
And they just got Garth Brooks, like my armor CO. He left us this week to join them. But like I said, 5ID's armor has never been their weakness, if you're infantry, and how they play. So that'll be interesting to see.
I think that game honestly is probably going to be my game of the week, because you have one team that's 0-3 and one team that's 1-2. It's essentially a must-win for both of them. So I think it's going to be a 3-2, 90-minute dogfight over mid, and I think 5ID is going to hold it.
I hope so. I hope it's a good game. So that's this week. Do we have anything else, or we can go into my top 8?
Gadwall, what do you think of some of those matchups?
The first matchup, 3-5 and 6. I like to see 3-5 win. I think 5's a great team, and I hate hearing people talk about like how dominating the 6 is, how dominating the 7th is. I want them to lose. You want.
Oh yeah. I think we all do, but you got to respect it.
I do too.
Yeah, you do. So I mean, like I said, I don't know the 6, but I've heard a lot about them, and I'm sure that I imagine they'll win, but I want 3-5 to win. What's the next one? 4AD versus. Who they got?
It is.
8. Oh yeah, I think the 8th will win that one. You know,
Yeah,
and,
480
and
versus the 8th.
I mean, no offense to like a lot of these teams, but I call these like the faceless number teams because I don't track. I don't track like the 5ID, 4ID, 3ID, 6, 7, 5, 8, 9, 11.
Yeah.
There's too many, and I get lost in it. And
Three
I get
fives,
them
two
confused.
nine, like.
Yeah, and I don't mean no offense to you guys.
Yeah.
Because you know, the best teams are now those also never clans. But I think eighth is a you know fantastic team. I imagine you guys will spot that 4ID. The 101A versus 5ID. I mean, like we played 101A. We lost to them. You know, it was on drill. We were British. So
I don't count that.
that's shitty. But they
Yeah.
beat us. You know, and I respect that. So I'm going for those guys.
Yeah. Snow, you can go ahead and get into your.
Divinity, do you have anything?
I was about to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
You
I didn't
know,
want to hear you bitch,
I'm
bro.
I'm never gonna root against my team, so I'm gonna go for the 3-2 win against 6. You know, I feel like we do have a good game plan to go against them. Now, I know people are gonna say bias, so I'm like retarded or something in the chat, but I have faith in my team. I do feel like we can pull off the upset, and you know, really.
Are y'all bringing 10 WTG guys?
No, no,
You should.
no. We're
It works. I
homegrown.
promise you, it works.
No, we're
It has like
homegrown, and we're gonna
100%
try to build
success
from the
rate.
ground.
Okay.
488th, I think you guys are gonna beat them within 35 minutes.
Really? Okay.
The last few times we played them, it really wasn't close, and I like. You can say you guys are better than us. I think it's about equal. I will always say it's equal. I just think it's just gonna be a dominant win for you guys. The 5ID and 101A game, it's a toss-up. If 5ID's armor can actually, you know, do something, I think it could definitely be a factor in winning that game. 101A also isn't a team you can sleep on either.
Right.
So I'm saying that game's gonna go 3-2.
Yeah, ever since Yokai and I mean, if, for you guys that don't know, like us and 101As, they really hate each other. But they've changed a lot, and so have we. I mean, obviously I don't think they're on like 3-5's level or anything like that yet. But I mean, I do like seeing improvement from American teams, so they are better than they were. So I do like seeing that. For what it's worth, they are winning the Winter Award League during the finals with them. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, Firelight has to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Yeah. So going into this this next section, Snow, I'll kind of let you take the lead on all of this because this was something that you came up with, and I know people in the comments and people that are going to be watching this later are definitely going to have a lot to say about this. But before we get into that, the reason why we started the podcast a little bit late was I was having some issues getting this picture uploaded to Riverside. It, for some reason, didn't like the format that it was in. So I'm just going to have to share my screen. And Snow sent me the graphic in a DM. So if you guys, either on PC or on your phones, I think you can like click on my window, like my face, and see if you can make it full screen because I'm going to share it. And I want you guys all to see this clearly.
No, it's on YouTube or
Yeah.
wherever we're publishing.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they can do it on YouTube, but yeah, whatever. They'll be able to see it. All right. So go ahead and explain
All right.
like what this is.
This is I guess week 1 of the off season, but this is like my first edition of the off season. Top teams and kind of all the leagues. I have a little bit backstory. Obviously, there's going to be people that are screaming, saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" And there's going to be some people hopefully agree and think I'm completely off track, but hopefully a little bit of the reasoning I'm going to put behind them at least help you see my point and why I do it. Starting with number 1, 6th. That they, for what it's worth, the only team that's beat 7th playoff game this year has been against Austin, but the game that really mattered for Elite was 6, man. So it's just a head-to-head. Same thing can be said with the HOE and 17 or WPG. It's a head-to-head, and I have to count it as a head-to-head game. Elite 6 did win. Map control, map advantage, or what they have until they fuck up, or until they have a rematch. They're going to be sitting there unless WPG gets them off fucking run. Second, obviously, WPG very, very close. Formerly 7th. New server, new team, same dominant players. TPO season 3 champions. And that's the best way to overcome Summit championship loss if you go win PPL like a couple weeks later. So, obviously 6 wasn't in there. So, again, head-to-head, that's why I'm putting them at number 2. They were a coin flip away and maybe a faction choice away from being the top team on the list. If they would have got the, like Francis is normally dominant with his coin flips and missed on the 6th game, who knows? Coin flip would have went a different way. They could have been on that beach on the other side. Years of dominance to look forward to into the next season. They have a ton of excitement with a new team and new leadership as well. So I can definitely see them popping up into the number 1 spot on my ranking. They play Merc Sunday, so it's going to be a real test of chemistry. They also play Lep first. So I think the left game is really going to be testing shit. But that Merc game is going to really see how the pieces work together. At number 3, I have HOE. This team's been right there for every single year. Absolutely dominant. They're like, everyone's going to hate it. They're like the Dallas Cowboys of the HOE. They're the Dallas Cowboys. They always seem to do fucking great in the regular season. And just a spur of bad luck or a spur of faction. Same thing, like one coin flip away, and, who knows on that 4 game. But they lost. They lost head to head. They've gotten some personnel changes this off season, so I'm really kind of seeing what they're going to do in next TPO season 4. And any of the script that they do, I'll be keeping up with it. Number 4, I have Taco. This was their first full TPO main season. If you remember, they were a TPO light team last year. But this was their full main season in a dominant, really tough division with Merc and HOE. They were able to pierce through that, and I made people thought this was going to be really good early on. They keep their facts close. They hate streaming, which I hate that. So hopefully they change that. Ain't much to hide, but they have gained a couple pieces in the off season, just reworking and recording, and then a lot to be said for the experience of playing in the final game. They were actually playing in 2 final games, just about semifinal and Sunday. The TPL finals. So they got a ton of experience, and hopefully they're going to learn the next season. At number 5, I have Merc. Merc is like a little brother of the powerhouse TPU teams, which is little brother is not a really good term, but they're not little. And after an exploit showing in TPL Gold, but that was one of the best games of the entire season. Ended up being for their little final. They're a team to look out for. Their Merc is recruiting like a madman. They're reminding me how 7 is recruiting, especially on the North American player side. Getting names like 100 Acres from the 7. Getting things like that. And you also got like Diesel players like that. And there's tons of good North American players over there. So it's going to be, who knows? Let's see how they play against WTG. So we'll actually be able to answer that question here in a couple of days. At number 6, I have Bus. Bias, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We're a team of unknowns. I mean, we're joining TPO with the 0-3 team to finish 6-1. We've lost 2 league games since we've been around. That's meant anything. We're just looking to build cohesion within the team and just learning the new way we're playing. Just keep running that way. The reason why I have the 2 teams below me, people can argue. First, I have no clue. Like, I don't know where to put them. They can easily be above us, but until we play them, and on paper, I know they lost their best shooter. Some of their best shooters. It's been a while since First has been a second best NA team. So they're in unfamiliar territory, being a recent upset against 3-5. So they're going to be retooling. From what I've heard from Trill's been retooling the team, and who knows what they're doing behind closed doors. I don't know if it's going to equate to anything on the comp side. It's hard to replace, I guess, 8 to 10 guys that left. A lot of guys that were planning on leaving actually stayed, and a few's come back. So we'll know in about a week, depending on how they are. They have every opportunity to go up, above us and above everyone else. It's only 8 teams, so sorry, but 3-5. I have them. I just have you as just the inconsistency within the team. You guys have been really good lately. And that's normally how it goes. But when we can, I cannot just erase the 480 loss in Summit out of my head. Especially with the way you guys are beating other players. I penalized first for the upset as well. So it's not just you guys. And like I said, you guys are going to be playing 6. You have every opportunity in the world to climb my rankings. You beat 6 tomorrow, and fucking your name's going up there. But I mean, right now we beat us with drill, and it's just I need a little bit more substance, in my opinion, to bump you up higher. But y'all did have the first win, so that Spark, that was the first really good player. So I just didn't know where to put first, and it was just like I said, after a week, I'll be able to go. That's my rankings, boys. Don't kill me, but hopefully you understood some of the reasons why I put it in.
Yeah, I definitely think it's. I definitely think that's something that's good for the show. It's definitely something that I'm looking forward to doing more, and curious to see how as the weeks progress. Oh, go ahead.
I forgot one thing. Honorable mention was Ross. A lot of people are going to say, where's Ross? The issue with Ross, like I mentioned earlier, we don't see him. We don't see him play. They'll play WTG, and yes, they've won in the hill. But I just, me personally, I would like to see them branch out like 6 has, play some more. At least North American teams, or hell, I mean, like Merck or something like that. Let's see them out there more. And then I can justify like putting them in there. But like your one game a season against WTG, I need a little bit more. Anyway, sorry, I just had to say.
Oh no, you're good. Like I was saying, I'm excited to see how the weeks progress. How those rankings change. I can definitely see 3-5s jumping from 8th, moving up in that list, and I don't know. I'm curious to see how that's gonna go. But I think that's just about everything that I had. Unless you guys had anything else you wanted to add.
Go ahead.
Only thing I'm gonna say is I don't see how you could put us over the first when you're talking about a loss that happened 2 months ago.
I know. And it's just
we're a completely different team from when that happened.
Okay, and you're exactly right. But like I said, tomorrow you have every opportunity to jump us, jump some more other teams. But like I said, it's just inconsistency in the way you play. Like that's where I was getting at. And yeah, our scrims. It's just, and obviously the more you guys play with each other, especially with the other guys, I could already tell. I mean, y'all beat us in drill last time we played. Like, they're getting better, so I could definitely see it to continue. And first, I honestly don't know where to put them. Like, I don't know how good they are until you see them. They've only played like fucking NATO and whoever the hell. Tried to play them instead.
I say that point further puts us up in front of them because you don't know where they are.
Yeah, but they had a reputation of being the number 2 best in a team for a long time.
When you lose, I don't know how many guys they lost a decent amount of guys. I mean, when debatably your best shooters too, you're bound to drop
800
off.
members, man. I have no fucking clue.
800 members, but realistically, there might be like 75 active people in that Discord.
Yeah.
Like I said,
they used to be a great team. They used to be good. I never lost it, to them in BCRK, but they were always right there, 3-2 with us.
Mm-hmm.
So they used to be a good team. And like, Vince said, I don't know who they lost, but they're up there, but I don't know if they're better than 3-5.
Yeah, we'll see. That's what this first one was for, was to kind of set the table, get some conversations going, and then now, I mean, next week it could look completely different.
Absolutely.
But it's now 10:20 Eastern time, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I want to hop on and start playing something. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate everyone in the chat tuning in. Appreciate the continued support of the podcast. We're continuing to grow on YouTube and everything. So if you're here watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, you're a fucking asshole. Subscribe. It's free. It's just click one button. You could subscribe and never watch again. I don't care. I just need subscribers if, I'm going to make this channel continue to grow. So just do it.
We have a Discord now.
Yeah, I was about to say that. We're putting the finishing touches on a Discord channel for the podcast. It's not going to be, anything super serious. It's just going to be, right now, the channel that I can promote this the most is in the Shit Talk server. And,
It's not a bad place.
It's really not, because there's a bunch of people from all over in there. So the Shit Talk server in TFL, but I think the chats, they made a chat or a channel for me to post it. TPL, they have it to where on their media personnel or whatever, it auto tags that I went live in their channel. And then Summit, those guys didn't let me do anything. Every time I tried to promote it, they were deleting my messages. So fuck them.
Fuck them.
That's weak.
Yeah.
We can also start doing when we're going live, we can also start taking comments from that chat in there, like a little.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's easier to see it if you're on PC. Are you guys able to see the live chat?
I'm not.
I can see the messages. I haven't opened them up. This is plus 99 for me.
Okay, yeah. So that's good to have open if you guys are on PC to be able to follow along. And Darkman, I don't sleep on a fucking air mattress. I say this literally
Yes, he does.
No, I don't.
Yes, he
Oh
does.
my god.
What's behind you?
That?
No, it's the other.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Okay. I am not, I swear, I promise on my son's life, I am never going to talk about this shit again. Okay. This is a guest room. It's hardly ever used. Since it's hardly ever used, I put my L-shaped fucking desk in here and put my PC in here. The air mattress is just for whenever someone comes over, they can fucking sleep on it. I'm not getting a mattress. I'm not getting a mattress for an empty room. So I had the air mattress, so I put it up. If you don't like it, sleep on the fucking floor.
You get the naps on there, man.
Yeah, dude.
You should pump it up in the back.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys want, but and then that
he'll blow it. You don't want the fucking pop.
Snow.
Here, bro.
He definitely sleeps there.
I don't. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I do. Yep. That's Cap. Yeah, go ahead and start fucking saying that shit in the chat. Yeah, Cap. Yeah, that's Cap. Yeah, dude for sure sleeps there. Fuck you guys.
That's his insulin bed. That's what we like to call his insulin bed.
Snow, you have sent pictures of you with 3 plates of fucking hot dogs. And one of them was literally a fucking U-turned hot dog with 2 buns. And I don't want to hear it when you're pulling Wi-Fi from the fucking Arby's 3 towns away.
Yo.
He's the only reason Arby's is still up and running. I bet you got a meat mountain in your fucking fridge right now.
But no, seriously, I appreciate you guys. No, and Darkman, I'm not going to stop selling toe picks for a side hustle. How do you think I was able to pay for my PC?
You're making money from this?
Yeah, foot finders, bro. You can't just sell that shit to the dude behind the Arby's. He's probably the one that gave you the Wi-Fi password.
Hey, we might need to collab sometime.
But yeah, so we're putting the final touches on the Discord. I think right now there's just a a general chat. And then mainly it's going to be to where you guys can post suggestions. Something we did last week, but not this week, is I put in a highlights and like bloopers channel in there, because what I want to do is when you guys join, or at any time you collect them, post like your funny moments and post like your highlights and stuff, so I can feature that on the show. But the invite to that will probably be going out sometime tomorrow or maybe tonight once I finish it.
And
I tried. Go ahead. I tried scrambling, but to get it done before the show, but I was fucking up Carlbot. He's a little prissy bitch.
No, and I'll try my damnness to post every single scrim match result, like, because I'm using not just one league's games for it. And if it gets requested, I'll expand it to like 10 to 12 teams, as well, and hell, even more. My idea behind my list is like an AP, like college football top 25. So it's going to be fluctuating, but yeah, I'm going to be posting that in there, and I'm going to try and post schedules, upcoming matches, like even scrim stats. So just that way, a one centralized location to see everything that we're going to talk about.
So real quick before I cut you guys away, I want to go through some of the things that they've been saying in the chat, because like the last like 10 minutes, it's gone from like asking serious questions to now like all the serious people either left or their brains turned off, because now it's just like the fucking water that collects at like the bottom of a dumpster. So let's see. I got dude for sure sleeps there. Alex, no, I fucking don't. Whoever now is, you're a hoe because that's not cap. Sweetwater, you're also a hoe because it's not cap.
You're the hell let loose queso.
Fuck you. Alex, where's the cuck hair? I don't know. It's probably on your chin.
Yes.
Hunter, you're a hoe too because that's also not cap.
That's 100 acres.
Yeah. Slink Daddy, oh sure. Yeah, it is sure. It is what I said. Let's see. What else? Who else do I have to roast in here? Slink Daddy quotes guest room. It is a guest room. And then once I started talking about the hot dogs, you got Glizzy Gobbler, no bun. Glizzy God, that's a no bun man.
Yo.
Hunter said Winters used the casting mattress money to get Snow a mic and better Wi-Fi.
Casting mattress? Oh, no.
See, Wilson's got the right idea. Great group of people. I love this community. Just good dudes. See, you know, I love you.
Go fuck yourself, brother.
That's the first time Wilson's ever said anything that makes sense.
Divinity is through talking to you on Discord. I would have guessed you look like a femboy. That's from Hunter.
He looks like the backup singer for Rage Against the Machine.
I've gotten Adam Driver a few times, but never that.
And Darkenment said, stop sipping that gravy from Arby's. Snow.
Fucker.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Sweetwater, I guess you kind of made up for a good podcast. Keep it going. Respect to everyone. Hump said there's a Merc server on Thursday, Stalingrad 24/7. You literally should die alone. And Darkman said Divinity's kind of sexy, not gonna lie.
Welcome to Day 8, brother. Live poaching. Heard it here first.
Yep. And Darkman said, come join your Uncle Dark, Divinity.
I had Godwall. Motherfucker left me in the heat of the night.
2 hours. 2 hours.
Fucking bird profile picture. I'll never.
And then last one. Oh my god, it keeps going. I thought we were done, but we're not.
It'll never end.
Everyone in this podcast is gay.
Hell yeah.
That's from Vader.
Hell yeah.
Hump said, good.
Hey.
Shout out to Vader. Vader's the one that made that graphic.
Yeah, thank you.
Someone make him a Glizzy Gobbler graphic.
Yeah, kill yourself. Okay, you're never allowed back on this.
Yeah, we're
I
canceled
hope
already.
you got all you needed.
I didn't even hear what you said at the time.
Hump said nightmare blunt rotation. That's crazy. Winters, let's get some burpees and HQ with the 8th. You know, I'd love to collab a WTG 8th burpees contest. I think that would be great.
Type one in the chat if you want Sniv back on.
Oh yeah. Type 1 in the chat if you guys want Sniv to come back.
This has turned into a Twitch stream. Anyway, y'all have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thanks,
Yep,
guys.
thank
There's still an invite to Rage if you're ready. Come on over.
Yeah, bro. Listen.
Keep your eyes
Remember
out
my
for us.
speech about dilution?
Come on over.
Need
Bring
to
'em.
join us.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
It was a good
Y'all have a
time.
great night.
Thanks.